Okay, what do you want, buddy?
What's good? What's really good, man? How you doing?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Uh, so are you caught up to speed on the Jussie Smollett story?
Nope, I heard about it and it sounded really boring. What is it?
It sounded really boring. Uh,
Jussie Smollett. Hmm. Chicago incident. On January 29, 2019, Smollett alleged he was attacked Chicago's Streeterville neighborhood, in which was initially investigated a hate crime. Police sources later alleged orchestrated the attack himself. Smollett told police he was attacked outside his apartment building by a 2 men in 6 ski masks who made racial homophobia using hands, feet. According to a statement released by the Chicago police, the two suspects that poured an unknown liquid on Smollett and put a noose around his neck. Smollett said he fought them off. He was admitted to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, not seriously injured. He was released in good condition later that morning. Hmm. Hold on, let me read this.
okay, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you, but I love to rant on stories, and this is one of those
Important.
stories
How
that I
good
think is
candidate can shoot
actually
home
deserving of a
intruders.
very long rant. How about I fill in the blanks for you? So about 2 weeks ago, the news came down that Jussie Smollett was involved in a alleged hate crime. The media went full on
Mm-hmm.
uh, that he was attacked by the initial story, which really got blown up by TMZ, said he was attacked by two white men with MAGA hats and ski masks. Uh, they beat him up. They called him the F word, the N word. They wrapped a noose around his neck. They poured bleach on him. And as they ran away, they yelled out, "This is MAGA country." Now, this happened at around 2 a.m. in Chicago, Illinois, in the middle of the polar vortex. And that evening, I believe it was a Wednesday, the combined with the wind chill would have been negative 23 degrees.
Okay.
So TMZ runs that story. Everyone gets all crazy about it.
Any
We start
Nathaniel
hearing,
fans in
words
chat?
of condolences from other members of the Empire cast. Lee Daniels was the first to post a photo of Jussie from a FaceTime
Sure,
call,
sure. So
which
the
showed.
media, the media, like reported this, and it ends up being false. Wait. So what about this?
Well, we didn't now. So here are 2 weeks and some days later. Now it is turning into which is believed to be a false story. But the entire narrative for the time being was that two white men in MAGA hats, pro Trump supporters,
Uh huh.
beat up a gay black man in downtown Chicago,
Okay.
uh, in one of the most liberal areas there is in the country. What's really interesting about it, during the time frame where we're reaching up to the point today, is that the area in Chicago where they're at is highly surveilled. There's video cameras everywhere. And it didn't really make a lot of sense when it led up to Jesse's own social media reports or his postings. He complained about his flight being late,
Yeah.
that he
Well. Okay.
got
Yeah.
in
I
late.
get it. It's fake. It's fake. We already
Yeah.
have that established. Wait. So what about
Okay.
it?
Well, so what really comes down to today, so during the same time frame, Jesse's close friends with Kamala Harris. I believe Kamala and Cory Booker were pushing a new bill for an anti-lynching bill
Okay.
that Jesse was in support of, and they used this as part of the incidents and why this bill would be necessary to be pushed through Congress. Well,
Okay.
turns out the whole thing's fake. In fact, they have Cory Booker today on video where he refuses to acknowledge. He's like, well, I just want to wait till the entire report's out, But originally they were fully willing to go with, yes, this happened, this is factual,
Okay.
this is
That
what went
seems
down.
reasonable by Booker now. I would probably, once stuff starts coming out that it might be fake, I would probably chill on making any comments until everything is out now. Sure.
Yes, absolutely, and I think, well, not everyone is up on the story, so yes, if you're just passively listening to it, you're like, yeah, I want to wait, but I don't think that's really fair in the case that, and I hate to make this, well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it for the sake of doing it, when it comes to like a progressive or conservative issue or left or right, when stories like this, these very grandiose, fantastic stories come out, people generally pick a side, whether it's what's her name, who was accusing Kavanaugh.
Rebecca Ford.
The,
Yeah.
yeah, Burger Ford. People are saying, hey, well, she said it happened, so it must have happened, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Or
I'm very uncomfortable, by the way, equating this to Rebecca Ford's testimony, but I'll let it continue. Go ahead.
well, I'm okay. Then I won't equate that, but I'm giving that as an example where people will hear a story and only get the soundbite or the headline, and then immediately say, "Yes, this person said it." Well, like the hashtag "Believe All Women," right?
Okay.
That's a thing that's going around. That you can't
Oh,
question
Christine Ford, not
the
Rebecca
victim.
Ford. I'm sorry.
Christine
But yeah.
Blasey Ford. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
yeah,
So what's our
yeah.
point? What are we getting to?
Well, here we are with a person who is of a marginalized group. He's black. He's gay. He has a great amount of status. He's on a highly rated show on Fox,
Okay.
uh, and he has been very vocal in his hate for the current administration. He's
Okay.
been very vocal in his support for his community, and he has, if anything, has made it extremely difficult for people beyond this who might be in similar situations to be believed. And I think
Okay.
this incident really hurts him, not only him. I mean, his career is basically over, but this hurts like real victims. And the fact that we had 12 detectives of the Chicago Police Department and allegedly 4 FBI agents working on this simultaneously to try to
Yeah,
get
this is.
a
Hold on. I understand. This is really bad. Where are we ultimately going with this? He faked the story. It was really bad. Yeah. Where are we getting at the end here?
well, I think part of the question to be asked is, so the target of the incident was that white Trump supporters are the ones who committed this against him.
Okay.
And should we question if people on the right, white Trump supporters or any Trump supporters, are they like the new boogeyman? Are they the new, you know, focus of, anytime something goes wrong or anytime something happens to somebody, especially of a marginalized group, do we just blame it on white people? Do we blame it on Trump support? Do we blame it on the right? Do we
Because of
blame it on
one bad
conservatives?
story? No, I don't think so.
No, this isn't one bad story. This has happened before. It wasn't a couple weeks ago that
Yeah, with okay, so two bad stories. So
well,
the,
not two, way more than two.
how many
I mean, I
times
don't
have
want
like
to bring up
false narratives
every
come up
incident
about
on
like MAGA hat
hatecrimes.org.
shit? I know that there was like the coverage initially of the kids at the one place. It was pretty bad, and the initial
Covington,
reports of
right,
that, sure.
right,
And then it sounds like this guy completely and totally made this up, which is
right.
bad. Yeah.
Well, we also had the black individual that sprayed swastikas all over a synagogue a couple weeks, I think like 2 months ago. He turned out to, they blamed it on Trump supporters and like, oh, see, Trump's rhetoric of hate is it emboldening people to go out and
Sure.
commit
Trump
hate
does have a
crimes against
rhetoric
Jewish.
of hate, but it's possible that people are hamming it up too much. Sure.
Yes.
Wait, so I don't understand what I'm supposed to take from this. I mean, faking crimes or faking news is really fucking bad. Nobody should ever do this. But I don't know why this would make me change my stance on Trump or anything Trump has
Oh
said.
no, I'm not trying to change your stance. And dude, it's not my goal.
Uh
In
huh.
no way is that my goal to like change your stance. I'm bringing up the conversation that has the MAGA hat, has conservatives, or just quote unquote white men now become the boogeyman when people want to push something out as more than what it is.
I mean, to some extent, probably. I mean, the same way that Obama was a boogeyman for the right. Yeah. I mean, people tend to rally around recognizable leaders and figures and then rally around people that support them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
And do
don't think this
you
is anything new or anything like Jesus Christ. I think every single person that ever talked to Obama was accused of being a terrorist. Our current president, by the way, was one of the leaders of the idea that Obama wasn't even born in the U.S. So, I mean, it's kind of hard. Like, if you were to talk about fake news, I mean, Trump himself also invented a terrorist attack, not just like a single incident, but literally invented that what was it called? What was the Kellyanne Conway statement about the fake terrorist attack that never happened or the last night in Sweden shit? I mean, yeah, this shit happens quite a bit. It's all really bad. Yeah.
I'm not aware of that particular incident. Speaking of which, I'm glad you brought up the whole birther thing,
Oh,
and
the Bowling Green massacre. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm not aware of that one, but I'll look it up at a later date. But I'll go ahead and believe you. Sure. But the birther movement, yes, it was Trump out there every day on various news sites questioning if Obama had been born in the United States. I laughed at it myself every other day where he was on CNN or MSN or Fox News saying like, yo, show the birth certificate, show the birth certificate, and I was like, okay, I didn't care one way or the other. If they told me he was born in a U.S. territory, I'm like, all right, fine, that's the end of it. Um, I I'm just gonna, and I'm not saying I believe this, but this is something that's been thrown out. Allegedly, in Stormy Daniels' book, they had spent a night together, and after they had done whatever they were doing, she says that Trump took a call from Hillary Clinton, and that uh, something along the lines, I can't say verbatim, but something along the lines of they were talking about something that was going on, and either she said or Trump said, our plan is going as expected or something. And I do remember when Hillary Clinton was asked, do you believe that Barack Obama was born or in the United States, or that he was a Muslim? And she didn't give a straight answer. She said something, and she's like, well, as far as I know, which isn't a definitive, of course he's, American, or of course he's Christian, or whatever it might be. And I have to go back and look at that clip again. But I remember there was a hesitation and not a very clear, assertion that either she believed he was born American or that he wasn't Christian or was Christian as he claimed, as he says he is and is. But what I'm getting at is it possible, since Hillary Clinton and Trump have been friends for many, many years, is it possible that as a favor to her, he went through the media cycles for those many, many months on her behalf? Because since she was actively running, she couldn't get away with that kind of rhetoric. So he was doing it for her. And they gave him tons of time, airtime, to make those false claims. So I'm just saying, like, is it possible? I don't know.
Trump has literally been incapable of keeping anything from anyone about anything. How many people in his campaign have flipped on him, have been locked up? What was Manafort's suggestion? 24 years in prison? Is Roger Stone facing prison time now? What's his name? Cohen, I think, is already at 4 years, is in prison now. Like, no, I don't think that Trump would have been able to hide a massive conspiracy to push something. And if this was happening, I don't think he would take a random call from Hillary while there's somebody else in the room to discuss it.
Wait, you think he's smart enough to not take a call from someone he's fucking to like talk to Hillary Clinton?
I don't think that
Hillary...
Hillary...
you're stupid, right?
I think that Trump is stupid. I don't think Hillary would work with Trump on something like this because I think Hillary Clinton is very politically, knowledgeable. I don't think that she would do something this fucking stupid. There's so much risk here. Why would you ever involve... if this were to get out, it would destroy, the whole Clinton legacy. Why would they ever risk that?
Well, then it comes down to, do we believe Stormy Daniels or not? So...
Well, hold on.
Again,
I don't even know what Stormy Daniels
no.
said. I'm trying to look this up. And it said the two were watching Shark Week in a hotel room, an allegation she previously made when she writes of a phone call Mr. Trump received from Hillary Clinton, which she had not yet publicly spoken about. At the time, Ms. Clinton was running against Barack Obama for the Democratic nomination for the presidency and was allegedly calling Trump to discuss the campaign. Then, to make it crazier, Hillary Clinton called, Ms. Daniel writes. He had a whole conversation about the race, repeatedly mentioning our plan. I mean, I don't know. That sounds really vague to me.
Right. So... listen, I'm not saying it's true, all right? But, and it's whether you believe her or not. You can or can't.
Whoa, but I don't even know if she said this. What do you mean? It's not about believing Stormy Daniels. I don't even know if she made the claims that you said that she's making. Also, to the person in your chat, this guy's an idiot. Clinton legacy? Clinton was president for 8 years and Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. That's a massive political legacy. And if you don't see that, you are so fucking stupid. Sorry, that was for Amy. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's fine.
I see this guy. This guy's an idiot. Clinton legacy.
Whether you like him or not, I mean, they obviously have a massive anytime you've been the president of the United States for 2 terms, even 1 term, that's a massive political legacy, of course. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Yes, Donald Trump made false claims, false accusations for months, if I'm not weeks or months. Yeah, no, we're years. How long did he do it? Yeah, for years.
Yeah.
That Barack Obama was...
I'm pretty sure even after the election was over, Trump was still leading this birther thing.
Yeah. I'm saying, I'm just saying, yes, he did it. I'm not denying that he did it. Well, obviously, I'm not denying that he did it. I'm just saying his reasoning behind it. And the only person that it benefited was the person he's running against, which was Hillary Clinton. And they were best friends. But hey,
This is like
that's pure
this is like we're like
accusation.
an Alex Jones level of conspiracy. I don't know, like
It's listen. I'm willing to admit it's pure accusation. It is a crazy assumption. Uh, it's cute to think about, and we will never know unless somebody decides to like
well, I'm
spill it
pretty
onto
sure
the
that if
death
Trump
net.
was involved in it, we'd probably know about it because it seems like every other fucking thing he's ever done has gotten completely leaked to everybody. So
You think he would tell either now or at a later date that yeah, I worked with Hillary Clinton during her campaign against Barack Obama to
yeah, he's literally said this in debates before. He's literally said, didn't he literally say in one of the debates that he went to their wedding, that he's literally had conversations with these Democrats and are good friends with them? He said this
yes.
multiple times.
No, I'm
So
saying, do you think he would admit that the entire narrative of
yeah,
Barack
of
Obama was
course.
supporting the United
Yeah, to
States? Do
tear
you think
apart the
he would admit
Democratic
it?
Party? Yeah, sure. Why wouldn't he? And to go into Hillary? Yeah. He said he would change laws to lock her up. Why wouldn't he admit something like this?
That's true. He did say that. Oh man, I remember that night during the debate where he
Yeah,
said,
under
you
my
should be in
DOJ, you'd be in
jail.
prison. He 100% would say this. It would be completely and totally consistent with everything he's done. Yeah. I don't think Trump would hide this even if he wanted to. I don't think he would have the discipline to do it. He would have tweeted it or something by now. Yeah.
I don't know. You might be right. I don't know. I don't know entirely. I don't know if he has. I think he would have the discipline to keep it quiet.
Okay.
But
But
that's
he
just me.
hasn't been able to keep anything else under wraps. Fucking porn stars behind his wife's back, that leaked tape about the pussy shit. Like, I mean,
Wait, no, no. He kept that quiet. Other people brought that out.
that's my point. He isn't able to like work within the realm of things to keep anything quiet. Like this conspiracy between the Clinton campaign and Trump would have involved more people. Like I don't think he would have been able to keep anything like this under wraps. The fact that he's having this conversation with Stormy Daniels, I'm sure he's had it with other people. Yeah.
Well, then let's run with this hypothetical for a moment. That you're saying that it would have linked out and might have been involved more people if this hypothetically if this were true. Um, what if it was just between two friends? Like, hey, I'm getting killed in the polls by this dude.
I mean, it's
I'm gonna
totally
lose
possible,
this.
but Trump has said and done so many other completely fucking stupid things that it would be far more consistent and simpler. I'm going to invoke Occam's razor here a little bit to just say that, oh, this is just consistent with all of Trump's prior behavior. Well, I don't need a conspiracy to explain him going hard on the birther movement. Like, it's pretty easy to believe given all the other dumb shit that he said.
Yeah.
Like, why would he
I'm
continue to go onto the
questioning.
birther shit for years and years while Hillary was literally the Secretary of State? Like, in what world does that make sense to continue on the attack?
Well, could you say that again? I missed that.
Why, like after Hillary was Secretary of State and Obama's presidency was already underway, why did Trump, didn't he continue this through fuck, I know he did years into Obama's presidency. I don't know if it was into the second term, but like I know that he did this for years and years, even while Obama was president. Why would he still do it if he was just doing this as a favor to Hillary?
If I had to give a theory on why he did continue to do it, because they gave him airtime.
Oh yeah, fuck. Also, that's true too. I keep forgetting how old I am. Did Trump even take up this birther movement during the election season?
When?
Didn't Trump start the birther thing like in the early 2010s? Like in 2011? I don't think
When
he.
Hillary was running? Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
Hold on. Am I an idiot? I thought Obama was president in 2008. Am I wrong?
Yes.
So I don't think
Yeah.
the Democrats ran Hillary against Obama for his second term, right?
No. No, not during the second term, no.
So Trump bringing up the birther movement in 2011 is never going to help Hillary because she already ran.
If I had to guess why he continued to run it,
Well, no, like I don't think he even started until like 2011. I don't think he was talking about the birther stuff in like 2006 or whatever, or 2007.
before the election,
Yeah, I don't think he was talking about
during
it.
the cycle.
No, I don't think he was talking about it that early. I think this came like 2011.
I'm sure we can look at Google Trends to see when the term birther started trending.
Earliest Donald Trump Obama birther remarks. Okay, so there is Barack Obama citizenship conspiracy theories. I'm just on the wiki for this.
Okay.
In 2010, at the urging of Donald Trump's lawyer Michael Cohen, the National Enquirer began promoting a potential Trump presidential campaign, and with Cohen's involvement, the tabloid began questioning Obama's birthplace and citizenship. In March 2011, during an interview on Good Morning America, Donald Trump said he was seriously considering running for president and that he was skeptical of Obama's citizenship. So it seems like he didn't even start this until 2010, 2011. So this is way after the Hillary had even ran.
When was Trump with Stormy Daniels?
I don't know the date. When did Trump fuck Stormy Daniels?
Yeah, that'll do it.
Timeline. 2006.
When did that end? Because allegedly they were with each other for quite some time.
The first reports of an alleged 2006 affair, blah, 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 took a polygraph at the same time. I don't know. But apparently 2006 is when it
Started.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. This just seems to be like a crazy, like, this is like super conspiracy. Like, if they were working together, he would have publicly stated this stuff way earlier than 2011. Because by
I
then,
don't think it would. And yes, it's conspiracy theory. It's but I don't think he would come out with it. If it
okay.
was if it was just a conversation between him and Hillary Clinton, and she's like, "Yo, could you just help me out for a bit?" And it's like, "Yeah, I'll make the rounds, and drum up some support for you." Is yes, conspiracy theory? Yes, possible, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'll admit that it's,
I mean,
I'm
it
not taking
seems
it
far
serious,
more
but
likely to assume that they were talking about like a campaign contribution or something like that, or some other type of, then, yeah. But,
yeah,
okay. All right.
I
So,
know.
what's the original point? Why are we so outraged over the fake story? Or,
Well, I think we definitely should be outraged over this story. I mean, I understand you don't care about it because it's kind of pop culture and stuff, and it's not really in your will. Well, um, I, I get really, really upset when so being black in America, life's hard for me. It just is. I try not to let it get me down, but it is what it is.
mm-hmm.
Um, and because life is already hard and difficult, um, when I'm faced with racism or other sorts of isms out there, I try to dust that shit off my shoulder. So when people come out there and say that, pretty much, I guess I'm getting at, I hate victimhood mentality. Can't stand it
Okay.
because there are real incidents out there that people suffer from. And when someone goes out of their way to be, I'm not necessarily saying that Jussie Smollett is being a professional victim, but when they focus on being a victim and the victimhood mentality, it doesn't do us any good. Especially when I look at other cultures that focus on their accomplishments, and it's like the Jewish people, they focus on their accomplishments and like how great they can be as a community, rather than the white man's keeping me down, America's keeping me down, bankers are keeping me down,
Can't we
money's
can't we
keeping me
have
down.
like a duality here? Can't we do both? Can't we
We
say that,
can.
like, yeah, but why do it always seems like reactionaries are always pushing like really hard to only go in one direction? Like, can't we simultaneously say like, hey, we should all strive to be better while also recognizing, hey, other people kind of fucked us in the past? Isn't that possible?
It is possible, but we don't. The far more the focus is on what people have done to us rather than what we can do for ourselves.
You don't think people
And the
ever try to better themselves or focus on uplifting themselves, or like when you talk about like financing education or prison reform or whatever, people are never like thinking of how they can make things better for people? Like,
well, some do. I always love to use the analogy, like, do you know any successful people that complain?
I complain all the time, and I consider myself pretty successful.
Okay, this is
Yeah,
true.
successful people complain all the time, but I understand the point you're getting at. I'm being facetious,
Yeah.
or I'm being obtuse, right? Yeah, typically people will succeed in spite of something rather than blaming, their circumstances on other things. Sure.
And it hurts me that a person of the caliber of Jussie Smollett, who, in spite of being black, in spite of being gay, or whatever issues he's had to endure throughout his life, spent a considerable amount of effort to bring up this fake story that took resources away from the Chicago Police Department as well as the FBI that could have been used to actually solving real crimes or bringing justice to real victims, who've been hurt or demeaned or in some way within that city. And he sent us all in a wild goose chase for what? Sympathy? This man doesn't need sympathy. He's successful. People love him.
Okay.
So I get if you're not really into it, you don't really care, or you haven't been really up on it. I mean, I've been on the story since day
Well, no,
one.
like, so, like, the problem is that, like, people, the problem that I have is, like, this is bad and it pushes a bad narrative, but people will hijack this or hijack your message and be like, oh, look, all the blacks, all the Dems, they fake this bullshit hate crime shit. There's not actually real hate crime in America. Like, we're going to talk for 10 fucking weeks about how horrible it is that the Dems fake this one thing while ignoring the fact that Trump has literally faked terrorist attacks, has literally done this exact same thing. Remember that shooting in Canada at the mosque where he initially blamed a Muslim for doing it and then the story came out changed and he didn't even recognize that he was wrong initially?
Oh yeah, some white guy did it, right?
Yeah, you're remember you're talking about wasting money and resources now because of a bad report, which did happen and is bad. But did anybody talk about the fact that Trump literally tried to throw together a panel to investigate illegal immigrants voting, and that turned up absolutely nothing and was disbanded? Like, how much money did that waste? You know, I mean, fake news is bad. I shouldn't say fake news, but people that like make these like fake reports are definitely bad. And personally,
very quickly, and I'm sure your room can correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they find out that 58,000 did?
no, the Trump panel
No?
found absolutely nothing. That's why he said nothing and disbanded it. They absolutely found nothing about it.
Where am I getting that number from?
I think Texas a few weeks ago released
Texas.
something about 80,000
registered-
people, but then
registered 80,000.
yeah, but then it came out later, and I don't know what the current status is. It came out later. The report was like, well, hold on. Initially, it sounded like they said 80,000 people that were unregistered voted. Well, now it's like, well, hold on. It was actually 80,000 of the things might possibly be mismatched, and they walked that back really hard. And I don't know what the current status is of that investigation is, but
And again,
mm-hmm.
I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, so it was 80,000 that were registered, and then I think 58,000 of those registered, they actually matched to having signed up, or God, I wish I could remember correctly.
Yeah,
And then
it's
there
something
was a
that like it's
smaller number.
ongoing. It's something that I'm not comfortable commenting on because I know it's ongoing.
Okay.
Like yeah, because it is definitely ongoing. Also, breaking news is fucking cancer. And I think that it is something that absolutely should be, and I call out everybody that does this, even people on the left. I got into a huge disagreement over Hassan Piker about the whatever black shooting or whatever. I think breaking news is fucking cancer, and I don't think we should ever fucking report on breaking news. Everybody that obsesses over that shit, trying to figure out like 2 minutes after a shooting, the fucking native birth mother of like a random person is like absolute fucking cancer. And
Well, you saw how quick they shut up about the shooting in Aurora the other day.
Sure, what happened in Aurora?
Well, that's you didn't hear it. they shut up real quick.
Well, I heard there was a shooting, but I don't. Again, I never follow breaking news because it's fucking cancer. I don't know what happened.
Some black dude got fired and he shot up the place. I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. But I let's just be honest. You know, I'm just gonna be honest. Had it been a white guy with an AR-15, we'd still be talking about it today for the next couple weeks.
That's absolutely not true.
It is true. If it had been a white guy with an AR-15,
we stopped talking about the Vegas
shoot.
shooting in like a week, and that was like over 500 people injured. Remember when the group of white people took over federal land in the United States and pointed guns at federal officers? We stopped talking about that in like 4 or 5 days. Like that. What do you mean?
I couldn't understand why they didn't run up there and take that shit back. That didn't make no sense to me.
Sure, but I'm saying like, yeah, we stopped talking about like all shoot because it shit happens so often here. We always stopped talking about that shit like pretty fucking soon after.
Wait, I would argue that they were still talking about the Vegas shooting for at least 3 weeks.
I mean, like, it gets brought up, like, every now and then, but the coverage, like, the wall-to-wall coverage or whatever, no, I don't think it was that extreme, like, pretty quickly after that. I was surprised at how quickly, like, a month later, I was like, damn, we've moved on that shit real fast. That was an extremely fucking crazy shooting. That was, like, I think over 300 people actually had, like, a bullet wound in that, and it was, like, 600 injured or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, I think we moved on from that, like, pretty quickly. Like, within...
Actually, just a couple weeks ago, the FBI released their final report, and
uncovered
pretty much
nothing,
said,
right?
We don't know.
Yeah.
They were like, well, you know, some people kill people. Yeah, we don't know what the fuck happened.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. So 422 injured by gunfire, 851 non-fatal injuries altogether. Like, so I mean, I think in general, I don't think that like the media moves on because it doesn't fit its narrative. Like, how much coverage has this recent Democrat thing gotten? I even looked at this because I don't care so little. About the anti-Semitic comments at like Tusi or whatever. Who the fuck made whatever? Like, people have been covering that shit a lot too, right? I don't know.
What's her name? Omar.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think...
Yeah, she really doesn't like Jews.
Yeah, I don't think this idea that, like, oh, well, we just don't cover it because they're black. I don't think that's necessarily true. Like...
I think they covered that pretty extensively from at least my feed was filled with it. You know, it was trending on Twitter. CNN even spent I think they spent 2 days,
Yeah, like at the end
you
of the
know,
day, the
talking about
media
her
is
comments.
like people act like there's some giant conspiracy in the media. The reality is the media is shit in America because it's all for profit. Like, and if there's something that's sensational, they're gonna fucking report it. Like
You
this,
know what I found out today?
what?
Uh, Gawker was the first publication to pay their reporters based off of clicks,
Okay,
and that the reason why Gawker got turned into such trash is, you know, or the headlines were just so crazy because whether they're writers and bloggers and so forth realize if I come up with these grandiose stories, if I come up with this crazy, insane shit, people will click on it and I'll get a bonus.
sure.
And I believe the owner at the time, after 2 years, ago, okay, stop, guys, stop this. This is
So
bullshit. This
real
is
quick, I'm actually curious because I haven't looked into this. Were Omar's comments actually anti-Semitic? Because you
depend.
just said she hates or he hates Jews or whatever. Sorry,
She
she hates Jews. Okay.
Are they definitively anti-Semitic? I think that is up to interpretation. And I'm being fair. I'm being very fair. Um, do I believe she doesn't like Jewish people? Yes.
Can somebody
To
link me?
a, other,
What were actually her anti-Semitic comments? I'm actually curious.
she has an issue. Well, she has an issue with Israel. She's made various comments about Israel, and I would argue this. And yes, this is going to be a crazy comment, but I'm just going to say some people ask, is it okay to criticize the Israeli government and not criticize Jewish people? And I would ask, well, is it okay to criticize the Mexican government without at the same time criticizing Mexicans? And obviously you can,
Wait,
but
hold on. Okay,
do
okay.
people?
Um, this is kind of complicated because first of all, the answer is definitely yes.
Yes, you can,
But
but
like
it comes
Mexican
into
is
interpretation.
used, yeah, Mexican is used in a different way, kind of than Jewish is used. Where like technically the people living in the United States. Oh fuck,
I
actually, I
would
don't know
argue
if this
that
is
Jewish
true.
people equate the comments of Israel and Jewish people just as combined as God, what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm just saying that like Jewish people can literally be like like a Jewish person is Jewish even if they're born in America to like a Jewish family, even if they're not like
Yes,
religiously Jewish. So like that's different than like a Mexican national person born in Mexico is like a Mexican like that's a different type of thing, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And listen, I'm not gonna pretend to be
Wait,
the
so
expert
I'm
on
super
Jews,
curious
and
on what Omar's comments were about Jews, though. I really, really, really want to see these comments now because I'm wondering if she even said anything anti-Semitic or if she was just shitting on Israel.
th- she was shitting on Israel. There's a tweet that she came out with not too long ago. She said something in relation to the Israeli government, or said something Israel, may Allah force them to see the error of their ways.
Okay, so here's something. GOP leader Kevin McCarthy threatens punishment for Ilhan, MN, and Rashida Tlaib over their criticisms of Israel. It's stunning how much time U.S. political leaders spend defending a foreign nation, even if it means attacking free speech rights in America. And then Omar responded, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby." I don't see anything anti-Semitic about that.
So no, but see, this is where interpretation comes down to. I can't remember the name of the rapper, but just a couple of weeks ago, he was saying, you know, I'm getting Jewish money,
Sure.
and people put him to the coals for that, saying, I get Jewish money. They were like, what do you mean? And a lot of some people said that those were offensive, and he goes, what do you mean that's offensive? He goes, my banker's Jewish, my lawyer's Jewish, my manager's Jewish. He goes, he clarified his statement saying, like, I see these people and they're very wise with their money. So I think it's a compliment. Um, so when she said all about the Benjamins, I'm assuming that people took this as a comment equating Jewish people and money, which some people find offensive. But
Okay,
these
I don't
aren't
know.
the
I don't
worst
care about
tweets.
that tweet at all. Okay, so her
Yeah,
original
these
tweet
aren't the
was
worst tweets.
Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel. This sounds hardcore like a dog whistle to me. I would just cite
Yeah,
this original
yes,
tweet.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, 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 yes. So, and I think this is a this is a very fair example of saying like, yo, this bitch don't like Jews.
Of saying what? Sorry.
This woman don't like Jews. I mean, you're saying it sounds like a dog whistle. I agree.
Yeah. This is it's from 2012, but damn, that's a.
That's deep. I'm a little biased. I have many Jewish friends. I spend Hanukkah every year with my Jewish friends. Um, I hear their interpretations of things in America and so forth. So I'm a little biased. Uh, but I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in any way, shape, or form. But
Mm-hmm.
I am very much in support of them and their struggle here in America. So I'm throwing that out there.
Well, fuck. Hold on.
Your comments are fucking crazy.
If this is 2012, it's a little different, I guess. If I saw a tweet like this today, I would instantaneously assume that this is like alt-right. It looks like alt-right rhetoric to me. But in 2012, an older person making a tweet like this, fuck, maybe it is a little different. Hold on. No, you are fucking crazy, man. No, fucking bullshit. If Richard Spencer were to tweet some shit like this, Israel is hypnotized. The problem is this hypnotize the world thing, like, really makes it sound like you're on some like fucking alt-right binge here, that Jews literally fucking run the world and that they're doing evil deeds, like fucking. That's what it would read like today. If I read this today, I would 100% assume that, and every single one of you would too. Don't fucking lie to yourself. But if this tweet is made by an older person in 2012 in regards to Israeli things, I can be a little bit more lenient towards it, especially seeing that they're Muslim or whatever, and that this tweet is not part of the conversation. It's unrelated. Well, what was the recent tweet that sparked off?
She was so there's a lobbyist group that spends about $3 million a year in efforts towards Israel, and I'm not sure of the details, and the $3 million isn't a lot of money in comparison with like
well,
other
also Israel is like a huge talking point for everyone in the US. Even Dems
Right.
fucking hardcore suck that shit off. Every political person in the US is like a hardcore boner for fucking Israel. It's just a thing in US politics.
Yeah, and this her apology tweet, listening and learning, but standing strong. That's a sorry, not sorry. When I read that statement,
I don't know. I don't think this is a sorry, not sorry. I think this is okay. 2012 was during the Gaza war where hundreds of people were killed. Yeah. That's why I'm saying like it was a different time, right? Versus reading that tweet today. Anti-Semitism is real, and I'm grateful for Jewish allies and colleagues who are educating me on the painful history of anti-Semitic tropes. My intention is never to offend my constituents or Jewish Americans as a whole. We have to always be willing to step back and think through criticism, just as I expect people to hear me when others attack me for my identity. This is why I unequivocally apologize. At the same time, I reaffirm the problematic role of lobbyists in our politics, whether it be AIPAC, the NRA, or the fossil fuel industry. It's gone on too long. We must be willing to address it. I don't know. I think this is an okay apology. I mean, it covers all the bases.
I think it's a sorry, not sorry, but that's just me.
What else could she have said? What else should she have said?
I think the second paragraph is unnecessary.
Why?
Because you're saying like, yeah, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, but I still agree this thing is bad over here, and yeah, I still got beef with the AIPAC.
Well, that's okay. She's just free focusing, basically saying that, like, I'm sorry if, like, this reads as though I'm sorry if my message earlier seemed to target all Jews, but I still have a problem with lobbying in the United States. It is really fucking hard to attack Israel in the U.S., and it's one of our most fucked foreign policy positions. I think it's a good statement. I think more people in the U.S. Should have the stance that we need to be able to criticize Israel without getting shit on by every politician. And, like, I don't know.
It's difficult to, let's be honest, like, there's so many groups that you can't touch. For various reasons.
What do you mean?
Groups,
okay,
groups.
No. Okay, Israel is not in the same position as like a minority group in the U.S. These are two totally different things.
I agree.
I'm not going to sit here and argue that we should be able to
shit
on transgender people. Like, that's not the same type of thing as being able to like shit on Israel. Like,
yeah, I mean.
It's like that really edgy joke that all like the 19-year-old white kids like to make. If you want to find out who has all the power in society, find out who you can't criticize. It's like, oh, I can't call black people the N-word anymore. Those have the real power in society. Like, okay, dude, like, nice.
Wasn't that a Churchill quote?
I don't even know, but it's the one that gets cited all the time. I don't know who
Yeah.
originally said it. There's like a million things attributed to Churchill that were said by Voltaire, that were said by, they were like, it all goes back. I don't know who originally said it, but I'm just saying like that's the one that like people cite and like, see, I can't make fun of transgender people, so they are actually the most powerful people in society. It's like, that's an incredibly fucking simplistic view of how shit works in society.
Yeah, I believe in intent. Like, especially, I always say that, for me, comedians get a pass.
Oh,
You can
people
say
are
whatever you
saying that
feel
the
you want.
quote is literally made up by a Nazi and it was attributed to Voltaire. I
Okay.
don't know if that's true or not. It's literally a quote from a neo-Nazi. I don't know if that's actually true, but that's.
Wouldn't surprise me
But
at
yeah,
this
like
point.
I mean, we try not to offend certain people in society, or I should say offend, but we try not to shit on certain people in society because we deem that they need help. That's a lot different than we can't attack Israel for some weird reason when Israel is like its own nation state that is like has some of the biggest technologically superior military in the entire fucking world, like and is constantly fucking like their relationship with Palestine is very strange. Like, yeah, I don't think these are the same things.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Uh, but I think I still believe that some of her comments and tweets, as you said with the one from 2012, and yes, that was very long ago, but even still now, it's a little dog whistly. But then again, if you spent your entire life,
Well,
um,
it is dog
having,
whistly, but it's dog whistling when you read it today. But if you read this in the context of what's going on in 2012, the fact that this happened like right after like hundreds of people on the Gaza Strip were like fucking killed by Israelis, and the fact that no one in the U.S. can like has the gall to stand and actually criticize anything that Israel has done. I mean, like in that context, the tweet seems a little bit more reasonable. Like Israel has hypnotized the world. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know people in Europe that call out Israel and what they do, because I'm pretty sure they're at like the beck and call of like U.S. foreign policy there, and neither party in the U.S. definitely not back in 2012. That's a very recent thing, I think, where even Democrats have had the gall to step up and question things going on with Israel. And even that was only like Bernie, I think. I don't know if like mainstream Democrats do it. I know fucking Hillary doesn't. I mean, I think this tweet comes off as like a lot more reasonable.
speaking of Bernie, you think he's going to run?
Didn't he already say he officially was?
Did he? I heard he was thinking about it. I didn't get the news that he officially said he was going to run.
I thought he did. I
Uh,
could be wrong, but I thought he like made his official statement.
I heard that he was twirling it over. If he is, the my news cycles have not pushed that in my face yet.
Oh, he has a running video prepared. He filmed an announcement video. No, he hasn't announced yet. He said he would announce. Okay, so he's announced the announcement, I guess.
My chat room says that Omar has been constant in her hate of Jewish people.
Well, yeah, but when they say constant, they mean like two tweets. Like has she actually done more in terms of like speaking? Because I know there's this tweet, and then
Well, I've heard, so she's made public statements like on camera. Her tweets are very limited. Um, I believe, and this is just me personally, that she's got beef with Jewish people. Uh,
well,
but
but we have to base this
she's
off
a
of.
politician, so she's smart about what she says and what she doesn't say. Like,
God
you're not gonna
fucking
hear
damn it!
her
Hold on one
flat out
second.
come out and say like "fuck Jews." It's not gonna happen.
Well, yeah, sure, but oh my god, thank you. Um, We stand with the victims of the shooting in Pittsburgh and all members of the Jewish community. I mean, like, what are some examples? Why do we feel like she's anti-Semitic? I guess let's start that. Let's start with our initial assumption that she's not, and then what do we use to build up our Bayesian to get her to being full on anti-Semitic? What are some things that she's done? So we have that tweet from 2012, which now that I think about it more in that time period, I'm a little bit more forgiving of it. Like, what else has she done
Okay.
that's like anti-Semitic?
No, this is good. Let's unpack this. Let's find something more definitive, so we can both educate ourselves and come to a consensus, or just leave it at is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've and this would take me time to look up, so don't take my word for it, but I've seen interviews with her, on film, like, she's done some interviews with like CNN and MSN and other places
Mm-hmm.
where she says things, and again, I can't repeat them right now verbatim,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to remember exactly where I saw them, what time I saw them. Uh, so this is gonna sound vague, saying like, oh well, she said some stuff and I didn't like the way it sounded, so here's my opinion. But basically, that's kind of what I'm trying.
Okay, so let's see.
A way
Omar
to have a
anti-Semitic comments interview. Let's see if we can find. Lawmaker is question about controversial tweets. That's 10 minutes long. These are all pretty recent. We were so worried about our innocent tweets when Ben Shapiro literally said Palestinians just want to bomb shit and live in trash. Yeah, I'm guessing this guy's probably not going to defend Ben Shapiro's comments on Palestine.
No, of course not.
No more. Okay, so someone in your chat, I'm curious. I want to see them do it. Someone in your chat, Crawdaddy, said no more than 2 tweets, bro. She's pretty outspoken, man. So Crawdaddy, if you have a link to her being anti-Semitic,
Yeah, please
I
show
would
the
very much
link.
love to see it.
Yeah, please throw the link up, dude.
Also, Crawdaddy, something that you said earlier in chat is a really, really good example of what it's like living with an extreme amount of privilege. And it's very funny that people like you let it seep through without you even realizing it, right? So your thing earlier, when we were talking about like who you're allowed to criticize, earlier in chat you said, tweet something about transgender and see what your life is like, LOL. The fact that for you, oppression or shitty stuff in your life comes from what you do on Twitter is a great example of how insanely fucking lucky you are to live the life that you live. Because when LGBT people, or especially trans people, think about shitty things that could happen, it's usually more along the lines of, is their family going to fucking disown them? Is somebody going to fucking rape or murder them? Is somebody going to fucking tell them that they're not allowed to be in the military like our president, or control the types of jobs, right? So it's very funny that your go-to for like, how am I oppressed? I can't tweet a certain thing without people getting mad at me. It's very, very funny that you kind of like unintentionally revealed that, but
I wish I had saw that. No, I agree with that shit.
yeah.
That is the epitome of privilege. I mean, Twitter is not real life.
Yeah.
Social media is not real life. It's a reflection of a very small percentage of the population, and then even so, it is really more of a reflection of either the most outspoken or the most outraged of individuals on any particular subject. And sometimes that's being used to weaponize us for political gain or for financial gain. Uh, so I take a lot of that shit with a grain of salt. And try to look beyond
Can I
it.
just move on to something?
Okay, here's like a 1-minute 40 clip. I'm gonna watch this real quick. I'll link it to you. You can watch it on your shit if you want to. Here you go. All right, I'm watching it now.
Okay.
Can I just move on to something that's generally sort of a rite of passage for politicians in the United States, and that is to sort of profess sort of fealty or at least pay homage to AIPAC, the pro-Israel PAC that is very, very prominent. Should Jewish Americans be worried about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib because of the BDS movement, because of one of the tweets that you made a long time ago? You know, you're part of a new wave of Democrats not afraid to be critical of the government of Israel. And during the 2012 military offensive in Gaza, you tweeted, "Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel." How do you put that into context now, and what do you say to American Jews?
So I remember when that was happening, watching TV and really feeling as if no other life was being impacted in this war. And that really, those unfortunate words were the only words I could think about expressing at that moment. And what is really important to me is that people recognize that there is a difference between criticizing a military action by a government that has exercised really oppressive policies and being offensive or attacky to particular people of faith.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
It's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair.
I would have to see more to think that like she, especially because now like because of all these tweets, like I'll just throw these at you. Like I mean, but I mean, you could say that well, she's just doing this to disguise her anti-Semitism, but
it seemed genuine. I liked it. It's okay. That's another thing, words and tweets are like, it's hard to get the inflection of emotion behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really, especially when you're trying to apologize for something, words alone don't do it. Sometimes seeing someone's eyes and seeing their body language at the same time really lets you know if someone's being sincere or not, or at least that they have remorse for what they did or what they're being, accused of. So
Hmm.
I watched that. I was like, okay, that makes me feel a little better. Um, and she also said that she's been working with some of her Jewish members of Congress and she's being educated. So is this woman capable of redemption? Sure. I'm never the type to like bury someone for like one thing. I believe everyone is capable of redemption, with uh, very few exceptions.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I
Even
guess I just don't see much saying that she's like a big anti-Semite, but
oh, I would say that given her background, where she lives, who her community is, it's likely, and this is my based off just my assumption, it's likely she has some anti-Jew, anti-Semitic,
wait,
anti-Israel
are we saying
opinions.
that it's because she's Muslim? Is that
Well, not just no, I'm
because it
saying
sounds like we're dancing around that real hard? Like
no,
maybe
no,
her
no, no, no.
community, the
That wasn't my
people.
thought process. That wasn't my thought process. I'm saying that I guess if you unpack it that way, I guess that wasn't what I was thinking. Let me just clearly, that wasn't what I was thinking. I'm saying like her community, those she spends time with, which, and I guess if you really want to go further, yeah, I guess they probably are Jewish people, but that's not what I was thinking.
Somebody told
Um,
me, somebody's typing, I don't know if this is true, we can look this up. She lives in a majority white neighborhood in Minneapolis.
that is true.
Is
And I was reading up on her the other day, and there's some conspiracies that she married her brother or something. I don't know. That's a little outlandish for me to. But her marriage certificate was from Minneapolis or something like that. I don't know.
has this been substantiated at all? Like,
Allegedly, there's a marriage certificate. So
I mean,
I'm
allegedly
not
there was
giving it
proof
too
that
much
Obama
thought.
was born
Someone
in
else gives it
Kenya.
some
Like,
thought.
I don't think this has been substantiated like whatsoever. I haven't seen any like reputable reports on this. Maybe it's true, but I haven't seen anything like.
I'm not. I'll tell you this. I'm not even trying to investigate that because like that's some shit I don't even really don't care. Almost don't really want to know.
Okay.
Like, it's like, okay, she married her brother. Okay, well, hey, if that's just legal, then so be it. Doesn't matter to me one way or another. Love who you love, or
Well, I mean, you brought it up. I mean, completely unprovoked. You
no.
just kind of
The
threw it
only
out there.
no, I brought it up because the marriage certificate did say that it happened in Minneapolis. So that's the only reason I brought up that you were asking if she lived there,
Okay.
and that's the only connection that I have to that location. Like, oh, I read the location in which it happened, but
Okay.
and I'm just I don't know if it's true. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not alluding that it's true. Just and I'm saying clearly it's a conspiracy theory. Some people think it's a thing.
Gotcha.
I'm not even saying people think it's true. I'm just saying people think it's a thing. So,
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for the conversation. Have any final points for us or anything?
uh, I wish you had more opinions about the Jussie Smollett story.
Well, I mean, it just seems like reactionary fodder to me. Like, I think it's a pretty. I don't think there's much to say about it. If people are making up shit like this, it's really bad, and I don't think people should ever do it. I don't understand like what more of a take you can have on it past that.
Um, Maybe I'm just into the spectacle of it. I will ask you this, as we part out. What do you think should happen to him?
Um, I don't know. Is it against the law to like make up shit like this? Are you talking from a
It
legal
is
perspective or
a
from?
crime to make a false police report. And if indeed he or by and the current story today is
Mhm.
that he paid the two brothers $3,500 to do it. Since they did it over the mail, the initial threat that was sent to the offices of Empire,
Mhm.
then that's a federal crime. Uh, so he's looking at, some federal charges, some misdemeanors, false police report. Plus we're looking at his career being done for. I don't see how you can come back for this, but as far as what happens to him, uh, when this happened, it is in the police department's best interest to put resources toward something like this because you don't want the public to think that there are people out there attacking folk based off the color of their skin and sexuality. That's a great public interest. So you got to put resources to stopping this as soon as possible. You know, everyone on deck. We got to find these people before it happens again. It could be a serial attacker or a serial rapist or something. Got to get this guy off the street.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, so wait. So like, before we go on this again, I mean, I understand that if he broke a law or whatever, he should probably be prosecuted here. I don't think the law itself probably doesn't cover the immense amount of damage that he's done to the public narrative. But I mean, I don't know what else. What else is there to say?
I'm under the assumption that he probably cost the city of Illinois a couple $1 million.
A couple $1 million to invest? How much do they pay their detectives?
Well, they had 12 detectives working on this night and day, and 4 FBI agents.
For how long?
2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now.
How could they even? I mean, like 50 people are killed in Chicago like every weekend. How can this one thing take so much?
It's a lot of resources.
Okay.
And who knows what additional.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's all bad, and he should probably be punished for it. But like, what else aside from like, I mean, like this just not to say that you're doing this, but like, I can't imagine spending more than like 30 minutes talking about this unless I'm just trying to score brownie points with like white nationalists. Like, I don't understand like what there is even like he did a thing. It's really bad. No one is defending this anywhere. I don't think. I haven't seen anybody defending except for randos maybe on Twitter.
No. There's some. No. Wait, nobody of significance, but
yeah. So I don't care about randos on Twitter. So like, what is it? What take could you?
Like, oh no, he did it because because of the white man, and and it's. I hate looking at that. And there's still people right now that are still using the hashtag. I stand with Jussie or like justice for Jussie, and they don't believe the police. And,
so I'm sure Twitter has a user base of I think 300 million people. I don't.
You're gonna find those outliers out there.
Yeah. But I don't understand past like a 20 or 30 minute thing, like what you could possibly talk about related to this.
I guess I look at this from a different perspective, because, I'm an entertainer. I'm an entertainment guy. That was my background. Yes, I said that.
Oh no! Wait, what is this tweet? Hold on.
I said that tweet. I posed the question. It was what I was thinking at the time. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong. When you make the comment Mexico is not sending their best, you're referring to the Mexican people. When you make criticism of the Israeli government, you're criticizing the Israeli government.
No. Is it?
Yes. Wait, what do you mean?
No.
What?
No. No. Let's
talk about this specifically. When you make the comment Mexico is not sending their best, Trump is specifically talking about people that immigrate from Mexico to the U.S. That is what he's specifically talking about. How is that the same as saying the Israeli government engages in bad activities that like bomb people or whatever? How are these two things the same?
I'm basing it off the words alone. I understand it's controversial. Believe me, I get it. It's a very controversial tweet. I said it. It was what I was thinking at the time.
The first tweet is literally implying that Mexico is sending illegal immigrants and shit to the U.S. to like take us over. This is the white nationalist conspiracy theory that brown people are being sent to breed out white people and shit. They're being sent here intentionally. Like
maybe maybe I'm just too naive to view it like that. Fuck it, yeah. I'm just too naive to think of it in the terms of like dark-skinned people are coming to take us over. I don't think
well,
that
sure,
way.
But I mean, like Trump's statement was literally when Mexico sends their people, they're not sending their best, they're sending rapists, thieves, and murderers. That's not a charge against the Mexican government. That is specifically a claim levied at people coming over here. When you criticize the Israeli government for their military action, that's a criticism of the Israeli government.
I mean, you've seen that in you've seen the entire statement that he made, right?
Trump's?
During that time frame about Mexico's not saying.
Yeah, of course, it's really old, but
it's all, and it's not. I mean, I'm not here to sing the praises of Trump, but yeah, it's not the greatest of statements.
It's a pretty fucking bad statement. It's a pretty shitty fucking statement. I mean,
okay, I'm gonna get shit on for saying this, but god damn it, I'm gonna get fucking shit on for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Fuck. Okay.
It's not that bad. Okay. It's kind of true.
Most
Mexicans are rapists, thieves, and murderers. Or
no, that's not what you're using the term most. And
because he said some, so that's like the other part. If you have some of something, then you must have most of something. That's how English works, right? Like,
yeah, but can't we just if we're gonna say that, if we're gonna say, well, this means this, he said some, so this other thing must mean most. can we not equally say like, well, he said Mexico, therefore he didn't necessarily mean Mexican because I mean, can't
No,
we
because he's
use the
talking
same-
specifically about the people that are coming over. When he says they're rapists, thieves, and murderers, is he talking about like Mexican politicians? No, he's specifically talking about
He's
immigrants.
talking about people who commit rapes, murders, theft, and drug deals.
Wait, so when he says, and some of them are good people, he thinks that some of the rapists, murderers, thieves, and drug dealers are good people?
My interpretation that he was saying that not all Mexicans are rapists, thieves, murderers.
Okay, well, listen to what you just said. Do you know how bad what you just... Imagine if I were saying not all black people are murderers and drug dealers, right? Did you see how fucking shit that sounds?
Yes. Wait. Yes, and are there some black drug dealers? Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say African Americans are rapists, thieves, and murderers, and some of them are good people, I imagine. I would never say that because the implication is that most black people are rapists, thieves, and murderers, which is what Trump's implication was when he was talking about immigrants. Okay, I have a problem.
Hopefully my brain processes that.
Well, like, I feel like what I'm saying is, like, pretty straightforward, but it feels like you reach, like, really hard sometimes to look for, like...
No, what you said is straightforward. And I'm trying to equate it to my tweet, which I will be... it wasn't the greatest tweet. Yes, it was a controversial tweet, and I was trying to ask the question. I was trying to bring out, like, if one guy can say this, then can't this be a thing, too? Like, and I told you before, like, I didn't vote for the guy. I'm not here to support Trump. But I'm saying, like, if one side is going to say, hey, you said Mexico is not sending your best, and we're going to condemn them for it, which you can, then why can't we equally say, like, oh, if we're going to criticize this government, how are we not criticizing the people which live within the government?
These are two totally different things. One, you're assuming that Mexico is sending immigrants over here, which is contentious at best, and conspiracy alt-right theory at worst. And then, it's not
I'm
even
not
true.
here to
I
support
can't.
the alt-right.
Yeah, sure. But, like, this idea that Mexico's sending immigrants, and then the fact that you're saying that most of the immigrants coming from Mexico are rapists, thieves, and murderers is like...
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm using his quote to equate it to...
But again, it's not the same type of thing. Also, what is this? Tommy Robinson going to jail for the crime of reporting on Muslim pedophile gangs in the UK? That's not what he went to jail for. He went to jail because there was a gag order on it, which is like standard UK law.
When did I... Oh, God, May of 2018? Tommy Robinson...
In the UK, you can live stream a gang rape of an 11-year-old with no consequence. I'm pretty sure in the UK, I don't know the laws, but if I was a betting man, I'd say in the UK, you'd probably actually get in trouble for streaming the gang rape of an 11-year-old.
Hold on, stop. Wow, somebody's going far back on my Twitter.
Yeah,
wow.
Sorry, people are just like posting random shit. It's just like a lot of the stuff you're saying is like, well, I'm hoping unintentionally, like just very convenently, like lines up with like a lot of white nationalist stuff.
I vaguely remember posting this. I know if I remember correctly about it, I was kind of into it at the time. Tommy was reporting on the story. Other news agencies were, but they arrested him. He spent...
No, I don't think other news agencies were. First of all, there is, in the UK, I believe the way that it works is you're not supposed to report on stuff that is currently like in trial because they don't want it influencing the jury. That was the explanation I was given. I don't think people were reporting on it. Tommy Robinson had already been arrested for this type of stuff in the past, so this was his second like ordeal doing this, and then he got arrested because he was trying to report on an ongoing story that in the UK you're not allowed to do this.
I mean, that's just their laws, and obviously they don't have free speech over there. So
wait, what do you mean they don't have free speech? Do you disagree with it? In
They
what
don't
way?
have free speech over there.
I feel like isn't journalism in the United States ranked like 20th or whatever in terms of freedom of journalism compared to other countries around the world? Like, what do you mean? How do they not have free speech?
No, you can get arrested for saying things over there. You can get arrested
for saying things in the U.S.
If you're threatening someone, yeah.
If I'm an employer and I call my employee like the N-word, I can get in trouble for that. There's protected classes in the U.S. You can't do that.
Wait, say that one more time.
Like in the U.S., if I'm an employer and I'm like racially discriminating against or like racially agitating and shit like my employees or whatever, or if I'm a tenant,
you're not gonna get arrested. You might get fined, or but you're not gonna get arrested for that.
Okay, this is like a huge quibble. First of all, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you could actually get jail time for something like this, but you could get fined for it. But like, I mean, it's still against the law here.
Yes, there are protected classes, as there should be, and you can't discriminate. And I don't know laws are set up, especially when it comes to like people's livelihoods.
Sure.
You can't discriminate against someone trying to make a living.
And I don't know if like I don't know if just because they've got gag orders on certain things that you can just make the blanket statement like they don't have freedom of speech. Like if you say like freedom of speech as defined as it exists in the U.S., they don't.
I'm saying, no, they do. I'm saying they do not have a guaranteed freedom of speech there. That you can be fined, you can be arrested for what. Yeah, they can say things, but there are certain things that are restricted in that country that you can't say, or and within context, blah blah blah. But it's not the same as us, where we're virtually able to say whatever we want or demonstrate however we want within the legality of how we do it.
Okay.
I mean,
I mean, I would agree that in terms of that, like, I think that America generally can make statements like things related to humor or even hate speech or whatever freer than other countries. I think I would generally agree with that. I like that about America. But I wouldn't take that and then say that country doesn't have freedom of speech. That's like a really extreme, I think, right?
in comparison to what we have and how free we are over here, I would say that they do not have the same level of freedom of speech that we have.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
not saying like it's some oppressive government where like you can't say anything, otherwise they're gonna like snatch you out your apartment.
Gotcha.
Doing shit. Yeah. And hey, like
Okay.
that whole Tommy Robinson thing,
Mhm.
it happened. I made that tweet based off of the information I had available. I don't think they should. I personally don't think they should snatch you up in jail for reporting on a story.
Well, and again, it's not for reporting on the story. It's for reporting on something that's currently in trial for fear of fucking with the jury. There's the rationale for their law. It's not just like you can't report on something, but
yeah, but over here, like, they have a jury, and their jury's told, "Yo, don't go look at the news."
okay,
If
but
you do,
but is that reliable? I mean, like we also have mistrials due to juries and whatnot as well. Like, I mean, now whether or not you agree or disagree with the law, like at least it's not just like a matter of like we're trying to curb people's freedom of speech. There's a reason for it, and I can understand the rationale whether you agree with it or not. But it's not just like.
The last time I heard of the story, like he got out, he had lost like 30 pounds. He said that he was beaten and some other horrible shit happening to him. I think that's pretty shitty, for someone who really is just reporting on a story. Like, yeah,
He's a white nationalist, right? Like he's like a blatant white nationalist, like Tony Robinson, right?
No, and I'm being honest. Like I don't know that.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
being
he
very
is.
honest. I don't know that.
Oh yeah, he like blatantly is. Like his interest in the story is because they were Muslims, right? That's why he was so interested in reporting, and why he felt like he was doing that's the narrative, that like they're trying to protect minorities and shit, and that's why they locked him up for reporting on it when he was trying to break the news about how horrible Muslims are raping everybody in Western Europe and all that. Like that's part of that narrative.
Okay, like I know that he's focused on rape gangs and
yeah, of course, everybody over there is like the Cologne event in Germany, whatever, are hardcore obsessed over like Muslims raping people because it plays into the narrative that Muslims are going to the West to like destroy it.
But I did not know, or I have not given thought that his intention to do that was based off of him being a white nationalist or him supporting
I mean, yeah,
white
I would
nationalism.
imagine most of his stuff is similar to Lawrence Southern, is motivated by that.
Okay, so that's my ignorance.
Okay, yeah, that's
again, I haven't looked up much on him, and since then, it's not part of my well of conversations, and I don't think about it too much. Maybe I should, but I don't intend on talking about him or using him as a reference to anything anytime soon.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So-
Okay. Well, I gotta focus on my League of Legends shit game, so I love
All
it.
right, man. Thanks for the talk.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
problem.
it.
It's been
Take
fun.
care. Have fun.
Yep. I'll see you
Bye,
later. Peace
chat.
out.
Bye, man.